My fiance said, "Your family isn't coming to the wedding. They're embarrassing and my friends will judge me." I said, "Okay." Then I invited 0 people, including myself. She found out at the altar. Sup, Reddit. My fiance told me my family was too embarrassing to attend our wedding. So I agreed. Then I made sure nobody showed up, including me. She found out standing at the altar in front of 200 people. Here's how it went down. I'm 31 male, a licensed plumber who runs my own small business in Phoenix. Started apprenticing right out of high school. Got my license at 23 and opened my own shop 3 years ago. Nothing fancy, just good honest work that pays the bills and then some. I've got 2 guys working for me now, and we stay busy enough that I'm usually booked 2 weeks out. The shop's in a decent industrial area, nothing glamorous, but the rent's reasonable and the location's central enough that I'm not driving an hour to every job. Started with just me working out of my truck, doing residential service calls, and small repairs. Built up a reputation for showing up on time, doing quality work, and charging fair prices. Novel concept, apparently. 3 years of grinding and saving everything I could, I finally had enough to lease a small shop space and hire my first employee. Tommy's a good kid, eager to learn, doesn't mind the dirty work that comes with the territory. My second hire, David, is older, former union guy, who wanted something more low-key after 20 years on big commercial sites. Between the 3 of us, we handle everything from basic repairs to full bathroom renovations. My family's blue-collar through and through. Dad's a retired welder, spent 40 years building everything from bridge supports to custom railings for commercial buildings. He's got hands like leather and stories for days about job sites and near misses. Mom managed a diner for 30 years before her knees gave out from being on her feet 12 hours a day. She knows every regular's order by heart and still calls the older customers honey out of habit. My older brother Jake works at the rail yard. Been there since he was 20. He's a supervisor now, manages a crew of 15 guys. Got a wife and 3 kids, lives in a modest ranch house about 10 minutes from our parents. Works hard, coaches Little League, drives a truck he maintains himself because that's just what you do. My younger sister Emma teaches 2nd grade at the same elementary school we all attended as kids. She's got that special patience that comes with spending all day with 7-year-olds. Makes about $40,000 a year and considers it a fortune because she loves what she does. Lives in a small apartment with her rescue dog and more craft supplies than any human should own. We're not wealthy, not fancy, just regular working people who show up when someone needs help and don't put on airs about who we are. When Jake's transmission went out last year, Dad and I spent a weekend in his driveway fixing it. When Emma needed help moving, the whole family showed up with trucks and pizza. That's just how we operate. Sunday dinners at my parents' house are mandatory unless you're literally dying. Been that way since we were kids. Mom makes pot roast with potatoes and carrots, the same recipe her mother taught her. Dad tells the same stories we've heard a million times about welding mishaps and characters he worked with over the years. We all give each other grief about everything from sports teams to who forgot to return the borrowed socket set. Jake's kids run around the backyard while the adults sit on the patio. Emma brings some new craft project she's working on. Mom fusses over everyone, making sure plates are full. Dad holds court at the grill, dispensing wisdom nobody asked for, but everyone secretly appreciates. It's loud, it's chaotic, and it's home. My truck's paid off, my tools are top quality, and I've got a decent house in a solid neighborhood. Nothing Instagram-worthy, but the mortgage payment doesn't keep me up at night. I'm a simple guy with simple tastes. Work hard, treat people right, take care of what's yours. Met my fiancée Victoria, 29 female, 2 years ago, through a mutual friend's engagement party. She worked in pharmaceutical sales, always put together, always knew the right thing to say to the right people. She had this way of commanding a room that I found impressive. Made good money too, drove a new Lexus, lived in one of those luxury apartments downtown with a doorman and gym and rooftop pool. First time I saw her, she was holding court with a group of people, talking about some resort in the Bahamas, like it was the most natural thing in the world to just hop on a plane for a weekend. She wore this dress that probably cost more than my truck payment and heels that made her almost my height. Everything about her screamed success and sophistication. Our mutual friend Kevin introduced us. He worked in sales at a medical supply company, knew Victoria through the pharmaceutical rep network. Brandon, this is Victoria. Victoria! Brandon's the plumber I was telling you about who saved my butt when my water heater flooded my condo at midnight. She smiled, shook my hand with a firm grip. The emergency plumber. Kevin says you're very good at what you do. I try to be. I appreciate people who take pride in their work. The way she said it felt genuine at the time. Like she actually respected the skill required to diagnose and fix plumbing issues. Looking back, maybe she was just good at making people feel valued. That's what sales reps do, after all. Our first date was at some steakhouse she picked downtown. Place had cloth napkins and 3 different forks and a wine list thicker than most books I've read. The cheapest steak was $45. I felt out of place, but she seemed to enjoy showing me her world. Told me she liked that I was grounded and authentic. At the time, I thought that meant she appreciated who I was. Turns out it just meant I was different from the corporate types she usually dated. She asked good questions, though. Wanted to know how I got into plumbing, what made me want to start my own business, what my goals were. Seemed genuinely interested when I talked about expanding the shop, maybe bringing on more employees, building something sustainable. She talked about her pharmaceutical sales career, the pressure to meet quotas, the travel to different medical offices, the satisfaction of actually helping doctors get supplies they needed for patients. Second date was more casual. Coffee shop, then a walk around downtown. She was easier to talk to without the fancy restaurant atmosphere. Made jokes, told stories about difficult doctors and impossible sales targets. I told her about weird service calls. The time I found a wedding ring lodged in a drainpipe. The elderly lady who paid me in homemade cookies because she was on a fixed income. By date 3, I was hooked. She was smart, funny, ambitious, had opinions about everything, knew what she wanted and went after it. That kind of confidence is attractive when you spend your days trying to build a business from nothing. Things moved fast. Within 6 months, we were talking about the future. She'd mention marriage casually, drop hints about rings, send me pictures of wedding venues. I was 29 at the time, ready to settle down, and she checked a lot of boxes. Attractive, successful, ambitious. Seemed like a solid match. I proposed on our 1-year anniversary. Did the whole thing at a nice restaurant. Got down on one knee. The works. Spent 2 months profit on the ring because she'd made it clear she wanted something her friends would be impressed by. She cried, said yes, and immediately started posting photos on every social media platform known to humanity. That's when things started shifting. The wedding planning kicked off immediately, and Victoria went into full coordinator mode. She had Pinterest boards for everything. Centerpieces, table settings, bridesmaid dresses, color schemes. Had a color-coded spreadsheet that would make a military strategist weep with envy. Tabs for budget, vendors, guest list, timeline, to-do items. The woman was organized, I'll give her that. The wedding was scheduled for 9 months out, which apparently was cutting it close in wedding planning world. Victoria immediately started booking venues for tours. We visited 6 different locations over 2 weekends. Ballrooms, gardens, historic mansions, vineyards. Each one came with its own coordinator who walked us through packages and pricing. My role was simple: show up, agree to everything, and write checks. My opinion on centerpieces didn't matter. My thoughts on the dinner menu? Irrelevant. The DJ selection? Not my concern. The chair covers? Apparently those were critical and cost extra, and I should just trust her vision. I figured that's just how wedding planning worked. Victoria knew this world better than I did. She had been to dozens of weddings, knew what worked and what didn't. I was happy to let her take the lead. Happy wife, happy life, right? The budget ballooned fast. Started at a reasonable $15,000. That's what we agreed on initially, sitting in her apartment, both of us thinking we'd be practical and not go overboard. Within a month, it crept to $20,000. Victoria kept finding necessary additions. Better linens, upgraded dinnerware, premium bar package instead of standard. Babe, these chair covers are only $12 more per chair, she'd say. But they make such a difference in photos. $12. Times 120 chairs is over $1,400. For fabric to drape over chairs, people sit on for 3 hours. But I said okay, because she seemed passionate about it. Then it hit $30,000. The venue alone was $5,000 just to rent for the day. The caterer wanted $18,000 for dinner and appetizers for 120 guests. That's $150 a head. I could feed someone for a week on that. The photographer package was $3,500 for 8 hours of coverage. The videographer wanted another $2,500. Flowers were $4,000. The DJ was $1,500. Transportation for the wedding party was $800. Invitations from some fancy stationer were $600. I'd pull up my business account and watch the balance drop with each deposit. Money I'd save to expand the shop, maybe buy a second truck, hire another employee. Going toward one day that was supposed to be about love but felt more like a status symbol. Every time I questioned a cost, Victoria would get defensive. It's our special day, and we only do this once, and my friends will be there and I want everything to be perfect. The unspoken implication being that her friends' opinions mattered more than our financial future. I offered to have the wedding at my church where my family had been members for 30 years. Big, beautiful sanctuary. Could hold 200 people easily. The rental fee was $500 that went toward building maintenance. Victoria shot that down immediately. Too small, too plain, not photogenic enough for the Instagram aesthetic she was going for. But the real issue started when we began talking about the guest list. Victoria came from money. Not millionaire money, but comfortable upper middle class money. Her dad was some kind of financial consultant. Her mom did interior design for wealthy clients. They lived in one of those neighborhoods where every house looks like it belongs in a magazine, and the HOA fines you if your grass is a quarter inch too long. Her parents were polite to me, but there was always this undercurrent, like they were being gracious by accepting their daughter's choice to marry beneath her station. Her dad would ask about my business in that tone that implied he was humoring a child. Her mom once asked if I'd considered expanding into commercial work, like that was somehow more respectable than fixing people's plumbing. Victoria's friends were cut from the same cloth. Lawyers, consultants, finance people. They all had expensive cars, expensive clothes, expensive everything. The women all looked at me like I was a curiosity, and the men would do that thing where they shake your hand just a little too firmly while asking what you do for a living. At engagement parties and wedding showers, I'd catch them whispering. One time I overheard one of her friends say, "I mean, he's nice but a plumber?" followed by giggling. Victoria didn't say anything to shut it down. My family, on the other hand, welcomed Victoria with open arms. Maybe too enthusiastically. Mom hugged her like a long-lost daughter the first time they met. Dad immediately started telling his worst jokes. Jake asked if she wanted to see his new truck. Emma brought her homemade cookies and a paint-by-number kit as a welcome to the family gift. Sunday dinners got louder when Victoria came. Everyone wanted to know her, include her, make her feel part of the family. We're not a quiet bunch at the best of times. Add excitement about a wedding, and it got chaotic. I noticed Victoria getting tense during these dinners. She'd smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. She'd check her phone a lot, make excuses to leave early. I asked her about it once, and she said she was just tired from work. I believed her. The first real crack showed 3 months before the wedding. We were addressing invitations at her apartment. She had this elaborate system with calligraphy pens and wax seals. Very Instagram-worthy. I was reading off addresses from my family list when she stopped me. "How many people from your side are we inviting?" she asked. "About 40, I said. "Same as we discussed. Parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, some family friends." She set down her pen. "That seems like a lot. Your side has 70 people invited," I pointed out. "Yes, but those are important people. Business connections. Family friends who could be useful contacts. People who matter. People who matter. Let that sink in. My family matters to me," I said carefully. "Of course they do. I just mean, we need to be strategic about our guest list. We want the right kind of people at our wedding. The right kind of people." Translation: not plumbers and welders and rail yard workers and elementary school teachers. I let it go that night, but something settled in my gut. A cold certainty that this wasn't going to end well. 2 months before the wedding, Victoria started making comments. "Does your dad really need to wear a bolo tie? It's so regional. Your mom talks really loud. Can you ask her to keep her voice down at the reception? Jake's wife is bringing their kids. Weddings aren't really appropriate for children under 10. Each comment was delivered casually, like she was just making helpful suggestions. But they all added up to the same message. My family was an embarrassment she was tolerating. I pushed back gently at first, said my dad loved his bolo ties, that mom's volume was just enthusiasm, that Jake's kids were well-behaved, and we'd already confirmed their spot. Victoria would sigh and say fine, but the edge in her voice made it clear nothing was fine. Then came the final Sunday dinner before the wedding. My whole family was there, plus Victoria. Mom had gone all out with a celebration meal. Dad bought fancy drinks for everyone. Emma made a slideshow of photos of Victoria and me. It was sweet, maybe a little corny, but genuine. Everyone was laughing and talking over each other like always. Dad was telling a story about a welding mishap that involved singed eyebrows and a near miss with a propane tank. Mom kept interrupting to correct details. Jake's kids were showing Victoria their drawings. Emma was asking about bridesmaid dress alterations. I looked around that table and felt grateful. This was my family. Loud, imperfect, but full of love. Victoria barely touched her food. She smiled, but it was the fake smile she used with difficult clients. After dinner, she said she had a headache and needed to leave early. I offered to drive her home, but she insisted she was fine. I stayed to help Mom clean up. While we were doing dishes, she asked quietly, "Is Victoria okay?" She seemed uncomfortable. "She's just stressed about the wedding," I said automatically. Mom gave me that look. The one that says she knows I'm lying to myself but loves me too much to call me out. The next morning, Victoria called and asked me to come to her apartment. Said we needed to talk about something important. The tone of her voice told me this wasn't going to be good. That careful, measured tone people use when they're about to drop bad news, and they've rehearsed how to say it. I showed up expecting maybe another complaint about wedding details. Maybe the florist had screwed up, or the caterer needed menu changes. Small problems with simple solutions. Instead, she sat me down on her pristine white couch with a serious expression that made my stomach drop. "Brandon, we need to discuss the guest list. I've been thinking, and I really feel like we should limit your family's attendance." The words hung there for a second while my brain processed them. Limit it how? Just immediate family. Your parents, your siblings. That's it. No aunts, uncles, cousins, or family friends. I stared at her. My Aunt Linda, who babysat me every day after school for 6 years. Uncle Mike, who taught me how to change my first tire. My cousins, who felt more like siblings than extended family. The Johnsons from next door who'd known me since I was 5. She wanted me to uninvite all of them. You want me to uninvite people who've been in my life since I was born? People who've always been there for every important moment? It's not personal, Brandon. It's just that this wedding is really important to me. To us. And I need it to be perfect. I've been planning this for months, putting my heart into every detail. What does that have to do with my family? She hesitated. I could see her trying to find the right words. The diplomatic phrasing that would make this sound reasonable. But there was no diplomatic way to say what she was thinking. "Your family is wonderful," she started. And I knew immediately that whatever came after the word "but" was going to be ugly. "But they're very different from my family and friends. And I'm worried about how things will look, how they'll fit with the aesthetic I've created. The aesthetic. Like my family was furniture that clashed with her color scheme." "You think my family is embarrassing?" I said flatly. "That's not what I said." That's exactly what you said. Just in fancier words." She stood up, getting defensive now. "I'm trying to be practical here. Think about it. Your dad with his stories about welding accidents. Your mom being so loud that everyone can hear her across the room. Jake's kids running around potentially knocking things over. My colleagues will be there, Brandon. Important people from the pharmaceutical industry. Regional managers, district supervisors. I need everything to be elegant and refined. My family isn't elegant and refined enough for you. Don't twist my words. I'm trying to protect you. If your family acts the way they usually do at gatherings, people will judge. They'll judge you for coming from that background. They'll judge me for marrying into it. I don't want that for us. I'm trying to save us both from embarrassment. The thing about being insulted is sometimes it's so blatant you almost can't process it at first. Your brain has to reboot to catch up with what just happened. She genuinely believed she was doing me a favor by hiding my family away like they were something shameful. So what exactly are you proposing? I asked, my voice dangerously calm. Just immediate family from your side, parents and siblings. That's still 7 people. That's reasonable, Brandon. Most couples have to make hard choices about guest lists. And everyone else who helped raise me, who've been there for every important moment of my life, they just don't get to see me get married because they might embarrass you in front of your fancy colleagues. You're being dramatic. People cut guest lists all the time. It's a normal part of wedding planning. Space is limited, budgets are tight. Based on space and budget, not based on whether they're ashamed of their family. Her face flushed. I'm not ashamed. I'm being realistic. Your family doesn't fit the aesthetic of the wedding I've planned. The wedding we've spent $30,000 on. The least you can do is compromise on this one thing. The wedding she'd planned. The $30,000 I'd paid. The compromise that meant erasing most of the people who made me who I am. My Aunt Linda used to pick me up from school every single day when I was a kid because my parents both worked. She'd make me snacks, help with homework, drive me to baseball practice. She was basically a third parent. And you want me to tell her she can't come to my wedding because she's not refined enough? I'm sure she'd understand if you explained it was a space issue. Uncle Mike taught me how to fix cars, how to use tools, how to be handy. He's the reason I got into a trade instead of racking up student loans for a degree I didn't want. He's family. They're all family. And they can celebrate with you at some other time. Maybe we can do a casual backyard thing after the wedding for your extended family. Something more appropriate for them. Appropriate for them. Like my family needed a separate event because they weren't good enough for the real celebration. You know what the worst part is? I said quietly. You've known all along who my family is. You've been to Sunday dinners. You've met everyone. You smiled and acted like you enjoyed it. And this whole time, you've been planning a wedding where half of them weren't welcome. I didn't know what else to do. You're so close to them, I knew you'd react like this. That's why I waited until now when everything's already booked and paid for. I thought you'd see reason. She'd waited until I was financially invested, until deposits were non-refundable, until backing out would cost money. Strategic, calculated, like a sales pitch to a difficult client. Something shifted in me right then, like a switch flipping. The anger I expected didn't come. Instead, this cold clarity settled over everything. Okay, I said. She blinked. Okay, you're right. We should limit my side. Suspicion crossed her face. She'd been ready for a fight. Really? Really? You've put so much work into this wedding. I don't want anything to ruin it for you. Relief washed over her features. She actually smiled. Thank you. I knew you'd understand once you thought about it rationally. I left her apartment 10 minutes later. Drove home in silence. Sat in my truck in my driveway for probably 20 minutes just staring at nothing. My phone buzzed once with a text from Victoria. Please think about what I said reasonably. I love you. Then I went inside, opened my laptop, and got to work. First call, the venue. A woman named Patricia answered, cheerful and professional. Brandon, how's the planning going? Only 2 months away now. Patricia, I need to cancel. Silence. Then carefully, cancel the wedding? Yes. What do I need to do? Oh, well, papers rustling. Let me pull up your contract. You're aware that you've already paid the $5,000 deposit, and that's non-refundable regardless of cancellation date? Yes. And because we're within 90 days of the event, there's an additional cancellation fee of 15% of the total booking, which would be more rustling, calculator clicking, another $3,000. $8,000 to not get married at a vineyard I'd never wanted in the first place. That's fine. Process the cancellation. Sir, are you sure? Lots of couples have disagreements during planning. Maybe take a few days to think about it. I've thought about it. Cancel everything. I'll need that in writing. Email to our events coordinator within 24 hours. And we'll need payment for the cancellation fee. You'll have both by end of business today. Second call, the caterer. A guy named Raymond who'd spent 2 hours with us discussing chicken or fish, past appetizers versus stationed hors d'oeuvres, premium bar versus standard. Brandon, calling about your final head count? We'll need that locked in 2 weeks before the event. Raymond, I need to cancel the catering contract. Cancel? As in postpone to a different date, or as in there's no wedding? I need to terminate the contract. Long pause. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. Unfortunately, your deposit of $2,000 is non-refundable, and we're now within the 60-day window where cancellation fees apply. You're still liable for 50% of the total contract value since we've already ordered specialty ingredients and scheduled staff. $2,000 gone, plus half of the remaining $16,000. How much total? $10,000. We can work out a payment plan if needed. I'll write a check today. Send me the final invoice. Third call, the photographer. A young woman named Stephanie who'd shown us portfolios of perfectly posed couples looking ethereal in golden hour lighting. Oh no, Brandon, I'm so sorry. Are you both okay? At least someone had some sympathy. We're fine, just not getting married. I understand. Unfortunately, my contract stipulates that cancellations within 8 weeks forfeit the full deposit. That was $1,500. I've already blocked off your date and turned down other bookings, so I can't rebook that day at this point. I understand. Keep the deposit. Fourth call, florist. An energetic woman named Diane who'd gotten way too excited about peonies and garden roses. Brandon, I was just finalizing your bouquet design. The peonies came in absolutely gorgeous this season. Diane, I need to cancel. There's not going to be a wedding. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. Do you want to talk about it? I just need to handle the cancellation. Of course. You've paid $2,000 already. Unfortunately, I've already started ordering based on your selections, so I'll need to charge you for the materials I can't return. That's about another $1,000. Send me the invoice. Fifth call. DJ. A guy named Kevin who'd promised to keep the party going all night long and had opinions about first dance songs. Hey bro, wedding's coming up soon. You guys settled on that Sinatra song for the first dance? Kevin, I'm canceling. No wedding. Dude, that's rough. Sorry, man. You've got the $500 deposit with me. That's non-refundable per the contract. But since you're calling now, there's no additional fees. I can probably rebook your date. Keep the deposit. Thanks for understanding. Sixth call. Transportation company. Luxury cars to ferry the wedding party around. Mr. Coleman, hello? Calling about your reservation? Yes, I need to cancel. Cancel the entire reservation? We have 3 vehicles booked for your date. Correct. What's the cancellation policy? You've paid a deposit of $400, which is non-refundable. No additional charges since you're outside our 30-day window. Perfect. Please process that. Seventh call. The wedding planner Victoria had insisted we needed. A woman named Gloria who charged $3,000 to coordinate everything we were already handling ourselves. Brandon, how are the final preparations coming? Gloria, I'm calling to cancel everything. The wedding's off. Off? As in postponed? As in not happening. Ever. Oh my. Well, this is unusual. Let me check your contract. Keyboard clicking. You've paid half of my fee, $1,500. The contract states that's non-refundable if cancellation occurs within 90 days of the event. And frankly, I've already put in substantial hours coordinating with all your vendors. Keep it. Cancel everything on your end. I'll need confirmation in writing from both you and Victoria. You'll have mine by end of day. Victoria can handle her own confirmation. By the time I finished making calls, I was sitting at my kitchen table surrounded by notes about cancellation fees, final amounts, and payment instructions. Pulled up my business accounting software and started tallying the damage. $5,000 for the venue deposit plus $3,000 cancellation fee. $8,000 gone. $10,000 for the caterer. $18,000 total so far. $1,500 for the photographer. $19,500. $3,000 for the florist between deposit and materials. $22,500. $500 for the DJ. $23,000. $400 for transportation. $23,400. $1,500 for the wedding planner. $24,900. Plus the money I'd already paid for invitations Victoria had ordered, for the cake tasting deposit, for a dozen other small things that added up. Call it $26,000 up in smoke. $26,000. That was a third of my annual salary. That was a brand new truck with money left over. That was expansion capital for my business. That was a year of mortgage payments. Gone. Just gone. But you know what? Worth every penny. Next step, the invitations. Victoria had insisted on doing them herself with her fancy calligraphy, but I'd kept the master guest list with everyone's information. I pulled it up on my laptop. 70 people from her side, 40 from mine, 110 total. I drafted an email. Short, simple, to the point. Dear family and friends, we regret to inform you that the wedding scheduled for date has been canceled. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Please do not send gifts or travel to the venue. Thank you for your understanding. Brandon. Sent it to all 110 people on the list. Done. Then I blocked Victoria on everything. Phone, social media, email. Changed my locks because she had a key. Took the ring box she'd left at my house and put it in my safe. The whole process took maybe 4 hours. 4 hours to systematically dismantle months of planning and tens of thousands of dollars in expenses. I sat back when it was done and felt nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, no regret. Just this quiet certainty that I'd done exactly what needed to be done. My phone started ringing within an hour. Victoria's friends, her parents, random people from the guest list. I ignored every call. Eventually, I just turned my phone off. Drove to my parents' house instead. They were watching TV when I walked in. Took one look at my face and knew something was wrong. Wedding's off, I said. What happened? Mom asked, already moving toward me. I told them everything. Victoria's comments about the family, the demand to uninvite most of them, the reasons she gave, my decision to cancel everything instead. Dad was quiet for a long minute. Then he said, "You did the right thing, son. Cost me 18 grand. Cheap price to pay to find out who she really was before you married her." Mom just hugged me. Didn't say anything. Just held on tight the way she did when I was a kid and something hurt. Jake showed up an hour later. Apparently Mom had called him. He brought takeout, and we sat around not really talking about anything important. Just being together. That night, lying in bed, I turned my phone back on. 63 missed calls, 42 text messages, 27 voicemails. I deleted everything without reading or listening. Next morning, Victoria's father showed up at my door. Harold was a tall guy, always dressed like he had a board meeting to attend. He looked angry in that controlled, wealthy person way where they don't yell, but you know they're furious. "Brandon, what in God's name is going on? Victoria is hysterical. The wedding is canceled? What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking I'm not marrying someone who's ashamed of my family. That's not what this is about." She was trying to make practical decisions about the guest list. She told me my family was embarrassing and didn't fit the aesthetic. Pretty clear what that's about. His jaw tightened. "You've humiliated her. Canceled everything without even discussing it with her first. That's incredibly immature." She made a decision about my family without discussing it with me. I made a decision about our wedding. Seems fair. You've cost us thousands of dollars. Victoria had her dress, we'd paid for flowers, the rehearsal dinner venue. This is unacceptable. I've lost $18,000 in cancellation fees alone, plus the 10 grand I already had in deposits. Don't talk to me about costs. He stepped closer, trying to intimidate me. Probably worked great in boardrooms. Didn't work on me. This isn't over. You have a responsibility here. You proposed to her. You made promises. You don't just walk away. Watch me. I closed the door in his face. Heard him yelling something about lawyers and contracts and obligations. Didn't care. The next week was intense. Victoria's friend started a social media campaign painting me as the villain. Poor Victoria, left at the altar by her heartless fiancé. They left out the part about why I canceled, naturally. Some mutual friends reached out asking for my side. I gave them the basic facts. Victoria didn't want my family at the wedding because they were embarrassing. I disagreed. Wedding was off. That was it. A few people understood. Most thought I'd overreacted. One guy actually told me I should have just gone along with it to keep the peace. I stopped talking to him after that. Victoria tried everything to contact me. Showed up at my house, at my shop, had friends call me, sent letters. I ignored all of it. She sent one email that got through before I blocked that address too. It was an essay about how I'd misunderstood, how she loved my family, how she'd just been stressed and said things wrong, how we could still fix this if I just talked to her. Too late for that. My family was amazing through all of it. Mom kept checking on me. Dad helped me with a big job at my shop that week. Didn't mention the wedding once. Emma brought over food. Jake invited me to watch games at his place. The Sunday dinner that was supposed to be the week before my wedding, I showed up at my parents' house expecting awkwardness. Instead, everyone just acted normal. Nobody brought it up unless I did. They just loved me and fed me and reminded me what family actually means. 2 weeks after I canceled everything, the wedding date arrived. I woke up that morning in my own bed, in my own house, with no obligations and no regrets. Took my time getting up, made a real breakfast, went for a long drive in my truck with the windows down. My phone buzzed around 11. My friend Dave, who'd gotten the cancellation email, but apparently Victoria hadn't removed from some vendor list. Dude, are you seeing this? Seeing what? Victoria's at the venue. Turns out Victoria never told the venue I'd canceled. Or maybe she thought she could force the issue. Either way, she showed up in her wedding dress with her bridesmaids. Her family was there. Her 70 guests were there. I wasn't. Dave sent me videos people were posting on social media. Victoria standing in the venue entrance in her dress looking confused. Her bridesmaids on phones making frantic calls. Guests milling around not sure what was happening. The venue coordinator trying to explain that the event had been canceled 2 weeks ago. Victoria insisting there must be a mistake. Her father yelling at staff. Her mother crying. Eventually, the coordinator had to get the cancellation paperwork I'd signed, with my signature and the date clearly visible. Showed it to Victoria in front of everyone. The look on her face in those videos was something else. Confusion giving way to realization, giving way to rage. She tried calling me right there. I watched my phone ring and didn't answer. Her friends started posting about what happened. The story changed depending on who was telling it. Some said I'd left her at the altar. Some said there was a miscommunication. Victoria's version was that I'd had a mental breakdown and done this out of spite. The truth came out anyway. Too many people knew what she'd said about my family. One of her own bridesmaids apparently felt guilty and told people the real story. That Victoria had demanded I uninvite most of my family because they were embarrassing. Public opinion shifted fast after that. The wedding that wasn't happened on a Saturday. By Monday, I was back at work like nothing happened. Had a kitchen renovation to finish, 3 bathroom repairs scheduled, and a sewer line that needed camera inspection. Regular life, working life, the life Victoria had looked down on. My apprentice asked if I was okay. I said yeah, just a canceled wedding. He didn't push it. We went back to work. Thing about plumbing, it's honest work. You fix what's broken, you leave things better than you found them, and at the end of the day you've accomplished something real. No politics, no pretension, no worrying about what other people think of your family. Victoria tried for another month to contact me. Each attempt got more desperate. She sent flowers to my shop, showed up at my house crying, had her mother call my mother. Nothing worked. My mom did talk to her mother once. Came away from that conversation shaking her head. That woman tried to convince me you were being unreasonable. When I told her what Victoria said about us, she actually defended it. Said Victoria was just trying to have a sophisticated wedding. Sophisticated? I repeated. Your father and I aren't sophisticated enough, apparently. Mom's voice was sharp. That family can keep their sophistication. We've got something better. The final attempt came 6 weeks after the canceled wedding. Victoria showed up at Sunday dinner. Just walked in like she'd been invited. My whole family was there. Everyone stopped talking when she appeared in the doorway. Brandon, please, can we just talk? I stood up. How did you get in? The door was unlocked. I need to explain. I made a mistake. I was wrong about your family. I see that now. My mom stood up too. Young lady, you called us embarrassing. Said we weren't good enough for your wedding. And now you show up here uninvited? Mrs. Coleman, I'm so sorry. I was stressed, and I said awful things. But I love your son. I want to make this right. Dad cleared his throat. You want to make it right? That ship sailed when you insulted my wife, my kids, my family. You don't get to decide we're embarrassing one day, and then show up expecting forgiveness the next. Please, I've learned my lesson. I'll do anything. Emma, quiet Emma, who never caused drama, spoke up. You had your chance. You showed Brandon exactly who you were. He was smart enough to believe you. Victoria looked at me desperately. Brandon, please. I made a mistake. People make mistakes. They do, I agreed. And sometimes those mistakes cost you everything. You need to leave now. I'm not leaving until we talk about this. Jake stood up, all 6'3" of him. She said leave. Victoria looked around the room. No allies, no sympathy, just a family protecting their own. She finally left, crying. That was the last time I saw her. Heard through the grapevine she moved to another city a few months later. Took a job somewhere else. Started over. Hope she found someone who came from the right kind of family for her. As for me, life went on. The business grew. Hired another apprentice. Bought new equipment. Started bidding on bigger commercial jobs.